you're a hero to your business, but your family gets the grumpy version of you, the stressed out version of you. My goal now is to empower other men to essentially plug them back into their families.
Well, I want to just focus on my greatness. I just want to focus on what I love doing, what brings me joy. Admin and getting quotes and filling paperwork and managing email is not in line with my mission.
You're a man living in the modern world in a time when men and manhood are not what they once were. You live life on your own terms. You're self-sufficient. You think for yourself and you march to the beat of your own drum. When life knocks you down, you get back up because in your gut, you know that's what men do. You're a badass and a warrior. And on the days when you forget, we are here to remind you who you really are.
Today's episode is going to actually be a live coaching and mentoring session from one of the world's leading thought leaders for getting your time back, along with a top-level thought leader in helping you become financially indestructible. I am speaking, of course, of none other than the two, the only, George Rivera and Michael Santonato. Welcome to the show, men.
Hey, Nikki, happy to be here.
So, Michael, why don't we start by you telling us who you are, what you do, who you help, and a little bit about, time overwhelm, and then we're going to take it away and have George lead the rest of the conversation.
For sure. Thank you for the opportunity. Michael Santonato here, helping people become financially indestructible. I'm a public speaker, an author, and a thought leader, financial advisor. So in the financial space, I help people get more out of their money. I teach them the basic, fundamental, essential financial foundation that everybody should have gotten in school that they never got, and then expand on it and teach all the advanced stuff that the 1%ers know, the 0.1%ers know about how to get more out of your money and make yourself completely indestructible financially. I am currently in a growth phase. My business is growing. There's a lot of great things happening in my business. Got new staff members, new vendor partners, and new team members, and got a lot of great new clients and doing a lot of investments, doing a lot of debt consolidations and tax optimization and all kinds of things that I enjoy doing. And my zone of genius is education, hand-holding, walking people through the process, taking them step by step, educating them on all the things about money that they never got in school or from their families that they should have gotten. So I want to just focus on my greatness. I just want to focus on what I love doing, what lights me up, what brings me joy. My mission is to end financial misery on planet Earth. So me doing things like admin and getting quotes and filling paperwork and managing email is not in line with my mission and my compelling life purpose, but yet I'm doing those things. So I got George's book. I'm kind of going through it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I've got to delegate more. I've got to scale up. I've got to handle the volume that's coming at me and feel like I'm treading above water and not just treading at water. So that's the opportunity for me here. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to meet with George and do this kind of work live.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Michael, for that, all that information. And yeah, I'm George Rivera. I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, going on 31 years since dinosaurs roamed the earth, pretty much. And I've generated over $400 million in sales. But it's been so long, it better be a big number. And my expertise has been in the supplement space, online supplements. And over the last year or two, I was like, okay, I could launch another supplement company and make more money that way. But I felt like I was lacking purpose. Like I've never had anybody tell me, oh, this bottle of pills changed my life. They're good pills, they're good products. But I felt like I was put on this earth to do more. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I had a number of just peers, friends, fellow men tell me, like, you need to teach people how you do this stuff where you're able to travel and still make money and you're still with your family. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not a teacher, I'm a doer. I just do my stuff. And over the last 6, 7, 8 months, this whole concept of buying back time from your business so that you can go do all the other stuff that your heart desires has really been implanted on me. And that was the method to do that. And then a step beyond that, because I'm family first, father first perspective, I'm going to resonate with a lot of men, or a lot of men resonate with my story. Basically, the me of 10 years ago, which is cash rich, time poor. You've got lots of money, but your time poor. Your business is getting all your time. You're a hero to your business, but your family gets none of it. Your family gets the grumpy version of you, the stressed out version of you, the on fumes version of you. And so my goal now is to empower other men to essentially plug them back into their families, for the kids to have dad back home. And not only does it help their nuclear family, but it also has the potential to have a generational impact. And that makes me excited. Instead of nobody ever says, thank you for your bottle of pills. Now I've got men texting me, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how important my presence was to my family. I was just like a machine, making good money, providing for them, but I didn't realize my presence really mattered. So that's what makes me happy in life at this point. And I'm looking forward to spreading that message throughout the world with buyback time.
That's great. All right. Have at it. Start coaching Michael.
All right, Michael. So appreciate the introduction. And you mentioned you're doing a lot of things you shouldn't be doing. And I hear you. All that's important and it needs to be done. And that's why you're doing it. But you should be focused on the stuff that only you can do. And all the other stuff that you're doing, again, important, but other people can be doing it for a fraction of what your time is worth. So give us some examples of what are you doing that you shouldn't be doing, that you shouldn't be doing.
Well, this morning I was filling out a part of an application for a client to do a RRSP loan, which is like a tax strategy hack where you get a loan, you get a bunch of money from a company, you get to increase your assets and net worth at the same time and have your money grow for you, and then also get a tax write-off on the interest that you pay on that loan. And then also you get a tax credit at a tax time for the money that you contributed into your RRSP, which is like a 401k for Americans. So I was filling out that paperwork, which I don't need to do, but there were mathematical formulas that I'm doing based on interest rates, based on loan ratios, and some sensitive client data. So I think if I were you, you would probably tell me, like, I need to train someone to do that math and the paperwork, and someone I can trust to handle the client data, right?
That's pretty much what I would say. And, and I get that some of this stuff might be like, it's not like I'm doing this all day long every day, right? Maybe it's once a month I'm just kind of stuck here for a couple of hours doing this. And so what I would do is just take all of the things that you're doing and sort of batch them up and hire somebody to handle like all of that work, and not just hire like one specific person to do one specific thing, but like one quick idea for kind of for a short-term fix would be utilizing ChatGPT. I know we don't want to like outsource all of our thinking but we want to use it in a way that helps us be more efficient. And there's 3 ways that you can handle any task that you shouldn't be doing, and that's either eliminate it, but this one doesn't sound like we can eliminate. This is important. You can automate, which I'll get into here in a second, or you can delegate, which is obviously a good option as well. In the short term, if like you need to do this today, but you don't have the resource to give it to today, what I would do is I'd take a snapshot of the application or upload it to ChatGPT and see if it could help shortcut your the time that it takes for you to do it. Is that something you've done, or is it capable of doing it? Because I know this is a very special thing that you're doing, unique thing that you're doing.
I think it could do it. One of the things that I am not really doing is automating. I'd love to learn more about automation. A lot of the stuff could be filled in by someone that I trust. I think it does need to be filled in. I don't think ChatGPT can fill up the file, but I could have someone learn in advance, like on a test version, filling out the paperwork, and then maybe do a video, and we get on a video call together and I train them on how to fill out that paperwork.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I don't know if you've already filled it or that's to be filled, but this could be like the first example, that you document so that you can have that training. So what I would do, and even if you filled it, nothing wrong with that. Maybe take a number of paperwork you've already done that you have in your files, open up Loom, your screen record. It could be anything else, but as long as your screen recording software will grab a transcript, and most will these days, but Loom's sort of the shiny object that everybody loves these days. Record yourself going through it in a step-by-step detail, missing nothing. Like, even if it's like, here's where you enter the first name, here's where you enter that, like literally as if you're talking to somebody who has no idea what they're doing, just to document it all. And then what you do is you take that transcript, you put it in ChatGPT, and you ask Chat to say, hey, make me an SOP that somebody can follow, that I just never have to repeat and explain it again. And it'll do its best job of giving you the most beautiful SOP you could have ever created. I don't know how we lived without Chat just 3-4 years ago. And then you take the output of that, you put it on a Google Doc, and then you take the Loom video that you use to sort of go through it, you link it there as well, and you give it to your person that you've hired. And you're like, here's the process. You got a couple hours to review it. I'm standing by for any questions. Let's go. And hopefully it is such a well-explained process that they might have a clarification question or two, but most people should get it. And then, give them some time to give some feedback. You relay your feedback, your answers, and that's it. It's off your plate. You should never have to revisit that again unless the process somehow fundamentally changes. And I have part of the process is to do a review of the process. It could be as often as once a week. It could be as little as once a quarter. Probably don't want to go too beyond that, but and that's how you maintain this working properly, because everybody loves to set it and forget it. And so you can set it and forget it for a few weeks, but you don't want to set it and forget it for life, because that's how things slip through the crack. The quality diminishes. And so for something like this, maybe once a quarter check in on this process just to make sure it's working well is good enough. And of course, you get feedback when you submit the app. Hey, we this is not filled out, or you'll get some feedback from there too to put back towards the person you're delegating to. But yeah, that's the process I would take with that task.
That sounds cool. That sounds good. What kinds of automations can I do? And then I'll ask you another question after that.
Yeah, so I'd have to get into some more of the things you're looking to delegate. So like this one process we just discussed, I don't see it being completely hands-free automated. So this might be an example of delegating it properly with ownership. There's two ways to do it. There's the right way and the wrong way. The wrong way, which I was guilty of for so many years, would have been like, here's an application, kind of like go figure it out. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you leave, holes for mistakes and misunderstanding. So when you transfer it with ownership, you make the video that we just discussed with the SOP, and then you give them the liberty to improve upon it, as long as you've covered the minimum as far as quality that you accept. Give them the liberty to improve upon it. But yeah, so getting back to automation, what are some other tasks that you're doing you shouldn't be doing that maybe we could look into automating?
Well, I did so getting quotes, entering in data in different softwares to run numbers, following up with clients and product providers on deals that are in process. What else? Email management. I think I can automate that. Sending out ebooks to people when they order them. Could automate that for sure. I don't know how, but adding people to email marketing lists, I think that can be automated.
Got it. Like them opting into your lists.
Yeah.
That could be done through a form that they come across, or you send to them, or somebody on your team has to send to them, and they get added to the database.
Right. I did your time audit from the book, right? I did 4 days worth, and nice. I did the time value blocks, the $10,000, the $1,000, and the $100 and the $10 an hour tasks. So yeah. I did do that. I don't know if you want to see that, or if you want something from that could help.
Yeah. Let's talk. What are those $10 an hour tasks, or let's say sub $50 an hour tasks might be a good place to start.
The smallest ones were approving social media posts and messages, calling for accounting and bills and finance operations, like personal and business finance entries. Those were some of the really low ones. Doing admin, there's a lot of compliance and admin stuff for my industry in finance. So there's a lot of filing and organizing of files and compliance and sending of files and maintaining files for, stuff that I have to have on hand and keep on hand for compliance. Mm-hmm. That was low. Important, but low value.
Exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. Is that, I think the answer is yes, but do would you have a process for somebody to follow to file all those things, like maybe in a shared folder, like a Dropbox, a Google Drive? And so you have examples that you could reference, like make a few, and then as new paperwork and files come in that need organization, it's like, hey, follow the training to learn how to categorize all this.
Yeah. What about I could do that. I could do a video. Like Zoom or Loom, like where this file goes, where that kind of file goes. Because those are important things, maybe I'm a little neurotic or OD, what's it called?
OCD.
Yeah, thank you.
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Thank you. Because of that, maybe like I have that a little bit, those files need to be there. So it's okay to have someone else upload them and organize them. But what do you recommend for me to know that they're there, to feel comfortable that they are there? Because if I get asked, where's that file? Someone needs to know where it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'd have them provide a status update. You could have it daily, it could be once a week, or it could be, if this is such an important task, because there's personal details, important paperwork that you're like, I'm gonna have to reference this, and it needs to be quick. It can't just be I'm searching all day for this stuff. Important tests like that, you might want to have some sort of confirmation from the person you outsource to shoot you like, hey, this has been updated, it's complete. And that could be done from the platform. Like you can set notices from, say, a Google Drive or Dropbox that, hey, something's been updated. Or if you don't want to get constant pings incoming that you're like have to like look at, they could have like a spreadsheet that they just update their tasks to, that you can check when you want to make sure that it's been done too. So depending on the priority level, hey, you feel better being alerted about it, or you're just like, hey, at a time and duration of my choosing, I want to go and check in on it. You have that liberty to modify how you get informed, basically.
Okay, so having a time slot when I go check in on it.
Yeah, and that's part of the review process that I suggested earlier. And that can happen by getting on a call with that person once a week, or it could be you checking in on a sheet that's constantly updated, or a combination. You could reserve the whole, like, where you check in on important things such as what we just discussed, or do a mix. Really, there's no hard set way. It's like what works best with your personality and your the way you like to run your business. But I come from the point of less pings and less notifications is better, reduces stress, and you get to experience a sense of freedom more. But also you got to know that those important files are there. There's personal details, and you're going to just look and appear more professional if you can reference what you need quicker. So that's all important stuff too. So it just depends on kind of where you need to be with those files.
That's cool. It is all on Google Drive. I realized that, one thing I could do is they could send me, say, at the end of the week, where the files are. And because it's Google Drive, they can just send me the link. Like, Michael, here's Catherine's compliance file. Here's the link. Michael, here's John's application file. Here's the link. Like, since they're doing it, they could just put the link in an email and I can just click, there it is, click, there it is, click, there it is. That'll take me a minute.
Yeah, and if what they like to do in a process like that is just shoot a Loom video of them explaining where everything is at. And it's not that you're going to watch it, but what they can do is take the transcript from that, put it in chat, and say, hey, I'm updating my boss on what I did this week. These are the important links he needs to know. Give me the kind of the summary to provide for him. And then, so you're teaching them how to be efficient as well. And then you'll just have hey boss, here's what happened this week, all the important stuff you need to know. And then of course the Loom, if you're like, hey, something feels off, let's see what was off. But 9 out of 10 times you probably won't review it, because hopefully that recap is concise.
Right. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you. Tell me more, if you can. Let's talk about the $10,000 an hour tasks, because that's the gold of the gold, right? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what were some things that you knew you needed to do, or what are some things I can do that I should do that are just those high value $10,000 an hour work?
Yeah, absolutely. And Nikki, you want to chime in?
I was going to say, I think that's the best question you've asked so far. And I'd really like to see, George, have you focus on what that is for you, because I think you need to understand that better than anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the $10,000 an hour task is, and we put the number 10,000. Obviously, that's a big number that we should all strive to beat. Hey, that's what my hour is worth. But that's like the visionary thinking that you're going to do. Like, how do I get more clients, and your strategy thinking? I think that time value is worth even more than the delivery to the client. That's extremely important too. So don't get me wrong. That might fall under a couple $1,000 an hour price point, or hourly rate, so to speak, which is important, and you should be doing that if it's the high level stuff that they're trusting you for. But yeah, the $10,000 an hour stuff is where we should be spending most of our work time, and that's creating strategic partnerships, relationships. Like in my example, and some of this might apply to you too. It's who could be some heavy lifters that I can refer clients to. Can I get on podcasts? Can I put a book together that can help me get on stages? Or there was a time 7, 8, 9 years ago, I was working 60 to 80 hours a week. It's just pure insanity, but you're in the rhythm of it. This is kind of crazy. And so when I did my own 10K an hour filter thingy, and there was no name for it back then, it was just sort of like, all right, what should I be doing? I realized that at least 40 of my hours per week out of the 60, say, I was focused on $50 an hour and under tasks. So I'm thinking, holy cow, for $2,000 a week, I could essentially save 40 hours per week. And now I'm only working 20 hours. Now, those extra 20 hours when I'm working 40 hours a week are low quality hours, low quality level of thinking, low quality energy. And I'm focused on high level strategic work with just burned out mental thinking. But you get that off your plate for pennies on the dollar, essentially, when you compare kind of the time value. I bought back my freedom to spend time with my family, to focus on my health, to focus on my personal development, my thinking, my spiritual life. And I'm working now 20 hours a week, energized, more positive, to move the needle in my business, strategic relationships, heavy lifters, providing training and being, client calls, move the needle activities. So how this translates for you is that you should be focused on activities that move the needle. And, you primarily as your founder, the owner, what those are. And so yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Is like,
may I make a suggestion here, George?
Yeah.
What if you just have him pull yesterday's calendar and go through it hour by hour and have him determine which were his $50 an hour bullshit tasks and which were his $10,000 an hour tasks. And then you can have a real life picture of how much of his time is spent the right way and the wrong way, and you can coach him directly.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah, Michael, let's take a look at your calendar for yesterday, for example, and see, let's see how we spent our time yesterday.
Sure. Yesterday was American Thanksgiving, so that's not a good one. But I have the and I went to a parcel of the day. But I have your time formula, the time audit, like I said. So I've got a few days here where I've got.
You want to share your screen with one typical day, and then just let George tackle that with you in real time.
Yeah. So this is a good day here, right here. The 12th, Wednesday. Yeah, my morning routine, I didn't know what the time value to assign that.
Yeah. I mean, your morning routine, I think you want to protect that, and the goal is to schedule your life so that you have good work-life balance. So I'd say morning routine it's awesome that you have one, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I have a morning routine. That's do you assign a dollar value to that or no?
No, I don't. It's really just on things on your work. Yeah, so that's I don't know. I'd kind of call that priceless. But yeah, NA is good.
Right? Yeah, messages with my family, chatting with my family, eating, those are priceless.
All those are things you want to be doing throughout the day. So we just want to identify things that either you shouldn't be doing or you should be doing more of.
Right. So here's I napped and I took a shower. Here's I did a coaching call with Teresa. That's probably worth $1,000, or she helped me doing the dishes. I don't know if that's
So
whatever.
just stuff at
Oh,
home,
this
you know?
Is that
This-
something that could be delegated, like your household tasks?
Yeah, yeah. I could hire someone to do like cleaning and stuff like that, cooking and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that's some good low hanging fruit there, and I imagine it's in your country there it's very affordable.
Yeah, here in Colombia, I've got my nice hot weather and low cost of living, and I got my island shirt because it's a nice hot sunny day and I'm relaxing.
Yeah,
I'm doing a lot of dating as well. That's fun,
Nice.
recharging stuff.
yeah.
Okay, how much time are you spending with girls on a daily basis?
So here I spent, this was a 2-hour date. Here I chatted with some for 15 minutes.
Messages with girls, like I see that there too.
Yeah.
So how much
So
time is
here's
that?
another 15 minutes. Yeah. This day was a day of dates. This was like setting up the date, coordinating the date. So this was like 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is that's my social time. That was my relax and recover time as well, was the date. Fun time.
All right.
Yeah, and
Well, yeah,
just
so
kind of
here's-
looking. Yeah. hmm
Here's the day totally filled out. $1,000 marketing activity, $10 admin activity, $100 team communication activity, about an hour and a half of $10,000 an hour activity for getting a new license to expand my services to my clients. Coaching call with Teresa, an hour, $1,000. More marketing activities, plus working on a 20K offer, $10,000. Relationship building call with a big relationship possibility, $10,000, plus a public speaking opportunity. This one is some trading and some money movement activity. This is where I had that idea. That was the $30,000 idea. And this was trading research as well. Team meeting with my team member would be at about $100 an hour idea.
hmm
So
Nice. Yeah, I mean honestly,
This was-
yeah. hmm
So George, what's your take on
yeah,
all
this was a great day.
Yeah, I mean, I'd honestly say he's pretty well dialed in here. But I mean, some low hanging fruit could be looking at some of the. I see you got some anxious feelings here, but those appear to be check the stats. Well, leaving to appointments, that sounds like a personal thing. Check the charts, move the money. So you said that that's important. Your $30,000 idea came from that, but you felt anxious. Ideally we're doing stuff that makes us feel good, but I get it. That's that's like a big decision, especially when you're moving money around. So, if it was like a $50 task, I might say we got to stop doing that. But I know there's some things that only the founder can do. So at least that's a high dollar task. So that's good there. So yeah, I'm looking to see things. I see towards the end of the days where you have your kind of lower dollar stuff there. And okay, so like messaging with team and clients, that could be like where you bring on somebody to handle, like a number two, essentially, that you have them be the one to communicate on your behalf. I mean, how much time do you typically spend? I see here was about 20 minutes, and that's just for the whole day, which doesn't seem to be a whole lot. But is it just happens to be a light day doing that, or do you do more?
I think this day was a really interesting day because this anxiousness led to that $30,000 idea.
Yeah,
Like the frustration and the anxiousness led to the situation I was dealing with. That led to the $30,000 idea, which I closed the next week, which was last week.
Nice.
So, that was a good kind of interesting, transmutation. I took the bad and turned it into the good. Being honest, the team messages, they're kind of scattered here. Like there's team messages here, but before my nap, there was probably some team messages. Here, there was some team and family messages. On the way to the appointments, there was some messages, I'm sure, right? Just being in the car or the cab or whatever, So
Gotcha.
this was a good day. This was like something not great was happening that I turned into something great. And then I think one thing I'm getting is like some days should have, like every day should have $10,000 activities, and every day should have a couple of $1,000 or $100 activities, but there probably shouldn't be any $10 activities. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. And if you're like, hey, I'm good with the $100 level and up, then yeah, you're probably not in a place where that message, team client communication is a heavy burden now. I mean, that could change in the future as you get more clients. But yeah, right now that appears to be a manageable thing. So it seems more just like just like the admin stuff is what you need to get off your plate. And I don't see a lot of admin stuff in this day, but maybe in a whole week you might have. How many hours would you think you have admin wise if you just rough estimate?
Probably maybe 10, but it's going down.
Okay, 10 and going down, like it's reducing.
Since doing this work and doing this analysis and reading your book, which I'm still going through, yeah, it's getting less and less.
Okay, well that's a good thing. Then it means that the any kind of tension there is on its way down. So that's a positive thing, and it looks like your big hours are on the way up. So that's a good inverse that you want to see right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing about the $10,000 an hour question is, when you made your changes, like, did you prioritize having a lot of free time? Because I find ideas come in the downtime or the free time. What I mean?
Yeah, I did. I mean, for me, like I said, family first, father first. So I knew that my free time had to go to my family. And I know your situation is awesome. You're there in another country, single, exploring and enjoying life as anybody in your position should be doing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, with your downtime should just be focus on what, is it making new friends, going to see the countryside, learning Spanish. I think you're already learning Spanish, but yeah, whatever it is that your passion is, and whatever it is you're doing to free yourself up from work, that's what you should be focused on. So, and that's why we focus on making the time you do spend on work efficient and high value, so that you're making more money, working less, and all that time that you buy back is spent on the things that you enjoy doing.
May I make a suggestion?
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So, Michael, you ought to go take a look at a month worth of this data rather than just a day snapshot for you to really understand where you're at, and then come up with an accurate reflection of the hours that you're using that are not being used in the right way. And once you understand that, then you can go and start cutting those back. And George, I think what we just did on this podcast, you ought to offer to go on some podcasts and do this with some of those hosts. Nice. For themselves. Yeah. And you've done this for the first time. This will come to you. You'll be able to take some good notes from it on how you can tighten this up and make it better. Yeah. But if you have 4 or 5 of these done in the next, say, 60 days, and whoever show you go on, you ask them to give you access to the underlying kind of recording so that you can turn it into lots of reels and content for your own social media posting and marketing and e-commerce efforts, this will do a really good job of bringing people on. And I especially would like to see you, George, do this with some married men founders who have podcasts, because this little audit done this way will help you open the door. And then the next time you do a talk for a group like you did 10 days ago or a week ago, you'll be able to send the hosts of that group a full podcast episode plus some reels and clips of how all this works that they can even send to some of their attendees, which will warm them up even more for your appearance. So I think this is a valuable use of marketing and branding for you, George. And and Michael, definitely look at this for a full month. It'll take, that's a $10,000 an hour task. Spend an hour and just populate a month for this, look at it, feed it into ChatGPT, get some really good feedback, and then understand where you can really take some steps to cut things back. Because looking at a day, you probably spend 10, 15% of your time this day on low value tasks. And if that's true over the month, then you're in good shape, better than most people. But if over a month you're more like 25 or 30%, you want to know that. So you're not lulled into a false sense of complacency around this issue.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, awesome, Nikki. Yeah, that's great feedback and a great plan. Yeah, I need to put in my bio like, hey, we'll do a live calendar audit or something.
Yeah. So the podcast guesting. Let's when I'm back in town next week, we'll in town, Toronto next week. Let's book a call. Maybe you, me, Teresa, we'll help you get that going. And you two do buddy calls with each other. So when you do your full month, bring this to George, show him everything you've got, and he can give you some good feedback. But I think this is good. And George, podcasts and stages, man, that's got to be the strategy for you for the next little while.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for this. It's a great kind of warm up to my next call, which I'll just sort of, hey, let's get your calendar out. And
all right, brother. Knock them alive, as they say.
We'll do. Yes, yes, I will.
Great podcast. Great to have you both here.
Yes,
and that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Sovereign Man Podcast. If you're ready to take charge of your life and become the man you've always wanted to be, we invite you to join the movement at sovereignman.ca.